I seriously can't believe I actually dragged you guys out to work out with me.
We want to support you. Yeah. And besides, we know it's good for us.
No, seriously though, exercise is so good for your mental health because of all the endorphins that just make you feel good. Let's just get right into the workout. Did you guys feel relaxed? Like, come on, shake it like that. You don't have to shake your arms, Daddy.
Oh, okay.
Shake your legs. There you go, just like that.
That's one of the ones I could do.
All right.
Welcome to the dinner table, we gon' talk it out. Serious or playful, family friends speaking aloud, yeah. He said, she said, we said, that's what we about. Family talking together, listening to every member, yeah.
You know, a good meal, I feel, just can make you feel really good even after a bad day.
What is you guys' favorite comfort food?
I'd say Mexican food.
Whenever I'm feeling down, ice cream gets me back up there, you know what I mean?
Ooh.
I know for me, whenever I'm feeling anxious or stressed or whatever, I love to go on runs. I just love to just run out my emotions, seriously.
I like to write whenever I'm feeling down or I just write out my feelings, you know?
For me, I feel like drawing is what I
Drawing?
do. I pull out like some drawing paper, I get like a pencil, a sharpener, an eraser, and I just draw. And if it's not that, I sleep.
Nothing like a good nap.
Yeah.
I like to watch something funny. Laughter is really good for mental health.
The last year or so, it's been pretty difficult for your generation. You know, you guys were stuck inside for a whole year.
In terms of just like what was happening with people getting sick and everything, I felt a little bit scared and a little bit like, you know, on the anxious side.
I feel like my anxiety just skyrocketed, and I feel like I didn't have anyone to talk to about it. I mean, I could to you guys, but you guys would be worried a lot. So it's just like, you know, sometimes you do feel alone with your feelings.
Yeah, because you don't necessarily want to like worry everybody or seem like that you're constantly having problems.
What about you, Mom?
I've always had anxiety. And I mentioned it to one of my family members. I won't say who. But when I said, you know, I have anxiety, they said, Rita, I thought you had more sense than that.
No.
Right? Some generations and some cultures just don't really know how to deal with mental health very well. It's really hard for them.
It wasn't really something that we talked about as much. Now I feel like it's talked about a lot.
What I really like is how we talk as a family, and we're really close. We work together. I know you guys don't always feel comfortable talking about everything, but I really appreciate that. I wish I had a little bit more of that growing up.
I think because I was raised by my grandparents, and that generation was like stoic, and you just deal with it. I think that I kind of took the opposite approach with you guys, and I think I overly talk to you guys. I'm always asking.
Yeah, because sometimes nothing's wrong, and you'll be like, Sinead, what's wrong? What's wrong? Absolutely nothing's wrong.
Yeah. What if you had a personal problem? Who do you go to?
I talk to you guys about things that I feel that you guys should know about. Or, you know, and I'm, you know, me and Daddy he's my best friend, so I talk to him.
Aw.
Whenever you're going through something that is emotional, take it seriously and don't just ignore it.
Yeah.
Do something about it. And part of that seems to be coming together as a family like we do. For some people, it is when you don't feel like you want to share right away, going into a nice, quiet, safe space and maybe writing in a journal.
Right.
Or, you know, or taking time to just process it, maybe in a thoughtful reflection or prayer, or even going to a therapist. But definitely not just ignoring it.
Our dinner guest, Diana Chao, refused to ignore her own mental health. After being diagnosed with bipolar disorder, Diana found solace in writing. In 2013, as a sophomore in high school, she started a nonprofit called Letters to Strangers, which has since grown into a global organization that aims to destigmatize mental illness and increase access to affordable quality treatment.
Oh, guys, I think Diana's here. I'm gonna go get the door.
Oh, okay.
Hey, girl. Hi. Nice to see you.
Oh my gosh.
All right, guys, our guest of honor is here.
Hi, Diana. Welcome to the Onyx table.
We hope you're hungry.
Yeah,
Have a seat.
Thank you. Take a seat.
You're right next to me. Lucky me.
Okay, so we have sweet potato wedges, we have portobello fried chicken, you know, chicken, and we have bow tie salad with arugula, and we have aioli for the sweet potato wedges.
Everything vegan.
That is incredible.
All right.
Right, let's dig in. So, Diana, your story is incredible.
Thank
Can you talk to us about just how you got started?
I am an immigrant. I was born in the poorest province in China in a rural village as an ethnic minority there. And when I was about 9 years old, my family and we moved to the US, to Southern California. And I grew up with a series of traumas and abuses. And
So are you saying that your childhood really affected your mental health?
Yes, absolutely. But it's interesting because when I was 13, I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder.
Could you explain more of what bipolar even is?
I think oftentimes people confuse it as just like having mood swings, which it kind of is, but it's on the very extreme end.
When you were diagnosed with being bipolar, would you say that you recognized it beforehand? Like, were you seeing signs yourself and you felt like that something was like different about you?
It's a difficult thing during those teenage years because you're already going through all that teenage angst and everything, and it's a lot of transitions between middle and high school and all that. So part of me wasn't really sure how much of it is like an abnormality, but at the same time, when it got to the point where I was really questioning my self-worth, that is a pretty stark sign in retrospect that something was wrong.
Wow.
Did you think your parents were aware of it?
It's important to have those conversations regardless of whether or not it's to the extent of a mental illness, and to cultivate that culture of safety and communication in your family so that if something does arise or get past that threshold, you are ready to talk about it. And I don't think that was established in my family, not out of malice, but just because we didn't know. Right. I think now that I am more aware of like mental health in general, I can be better about noticing these signs. But I think at first I'll be like, I'll be biking for 100 miles and I'm like, oh wait, what am I doing? And then I was,
So how did you begin to heal?
Psychosomatic symptoms are when your psychological symptoms manifest as physical issues in your body. And this has been shown in studies to be particularly prevalent in communities of marginalization, so communities of color, et cetera. And oftentimes it's because we might have like a stronger stigma against mental illness. And so sometimes it's almost as if your brain is telling you like, hey, if you're not gonna pay attention to me up here, let me remind you how I control everything down here.
Oh no.
Wow.
So have you ever experienced that?
Yes, and that is a big reason why I ended up going on my healing journey. I started to develop this eye disease called uveitis. And basically, every time I had an episode, it would increase my eye pressure almost like 5 to 6 times the normal eye pressure, and I would go blind.
Oh, no.
At the time, I wasn't really able to access mental health care treatment, but I was able to access physical health care treatment for my eye disease. And that put me into situations where I was in hospitals more often. I was, seeing specialists more often. And a lot of times, those were accompanied by questions about my mental health. And so as I was going through these things, I started to feel like, okay, I think there is something that is clearly not right with the way that I am feeling. And I started to write letters in addition to, these physical health visits. And I was writing these letters to strangers, to no one, to everyone at once.
So you just started writing letters to strangers?
I didn't really have a friend I felt like I could write to, so I pretended like it was to a stranger who would listen to me and who would accept me. Over time, I started actually leaving these letters like in between like public library books.
Oh,
Really? That is so nice.
That's clever. But
Yeah, it is
why did you
clever.
feel like you needed to do that?
Well, so many times all we really want is to feel like somebody cares. And because I didn't necessarily have that figure in my life, this sort of hypothetical stranger who wouldn't judge me was that person for me.
Wow.
And so I thought that, as I'm writing to this person, I am also trying to bring some amount of light that I can bring to that reader.
Wow.
And I figured maybe someone will stumble across this letter and it will, create that chain effect.
So Diana, please tell us how you started Letters to Strangers.
I started it first as a student club at my high school in my sophomore year. And I had to bribe my friends with pizza to come to the lunch meetings. See, food really is love. Yeah, but what blew my mind was like over the weeks, over the months, even when we ran out of pizza money, people still showed up.
I didn't know that you started it that young in high school.
When I first started, it was really just something that I wanted to share with my local community. Now, Letters to Strangers is the largest youth-for-youth mental health nonprofit in the world.
Wow.
That's amazing.
That is amazing.
That is amazing.
Wow.
Is this something that is going to be a life work and a life passion for you?
once Letters to Strangers started to pick up more steam and then people were, writing in about how it's helped them in their lives, I started to feel like, okay, maybe this is something actually worth looking into, like doing long term.
Wow.
I'm 22 right now, and I don't know how much longer I would feel okay calling myself a youth. But I do appreciate our youth for youth aspect because I think especially when I was growing up, that was when we had that whole transition to like social media and the digital age became the norm. And there was just such a generational gap that I felt like it was so important to have that peer discussion. So I really want to keep that momentum going in the youth community.
So what are some of the services that Letters to Strangers offer?
We say that we destigmatize mental illness and then increase access to affordable and quality treatment. But then the second thing is our science-based peer education. And so, for example, we published the world's first Youth for Youth mental health guidebook, which, fun fact, is the first comprehensive dive into race, ethnicity, and mental health in the U.S. since the U.S. Surgeon General's report 20 years ago.
This is fascinating.
Whoa.
Fascinating.
How important do you think it is for people to have therapists that are culturally competent?
Studies have found that people are more likely to be distrusting of medical providers who are ethnically dissimilar from them. Historically, American healthcare has not been kind or even humane to a lot of minority groups. Even if that is no longer the case today, you still have these generations of trauma and fear that prevents people from feeling like they can safely go to a doctor and perhaps, just tell them all these vulnerable things about themselves. When we talk about therapy, we often think of it as cognitive behavioral therapy, which is the most popular type. It's the talk therapy you think of. But there's also different types of therapies, and those could be good for different situations. So maybe it's better for certain communities that have large families and things like that to go to family therapy together. Right? That's where I wish we would have more of these, conversations about accessibility and understanding the different options available to us. Yeah, so I'm curious, as we're talking about social media, you guys are all in the public eye, talking to millions of people. That must have had an effect on you, especially because you're all still growing up in many senses. How has that experience been like for you?
One negative comment can really impact your whole day.
I've been struggling with that a lot sometimes, and so social media breaks is definitely something that I always periodically do.
I remember Shiloh really wanted to look at the comments one day. I was like, Shiloh, we cannot. Remember what Mom said? We can't look at the comments. Remember that, Shiloh?
When did I do that?
You did. I remember when we were first starting out doing videos. You're really curious to see what people were talking about. I was like, I don't know if we should. And I was kind of thinking about doing it too, but I was like, no, I don't. I really want to make sure we obey my mom and not look at the comments because you can see one negative comment, ruin your whole entire day.
We've learned a lot, Diana, about mental health and your organization, Letters to Strangers. I think this motivates us to really spread some joy and really tackle mental health in unique and alternative ways.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm very grateful to have this opportunity to talk with you guys.
Same with us.
Thank you.
So good. It smells good, like vanilla.
Yes. Sinead, what did you make?
I made tres leches, Spanish for 3 milks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Guys, today's dinner with Diana was so informative.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I've learned about mental health more this evening talking to Diana more than my entire life. And I feel like if I come across a person dealing with the same kind of struggles that she went through, I feel like I'll be able to help her now that I know more.
What are some things that you think that we could incorporate in our family as we're dealing with just some difficult times, maybe?
I think we need to talk more to each other.
And I think it's so important that if you have problems like that or relational issues in your family, that you can't really go to someone you can trust with your mental health, that there are other resources that you can go to.
Not everybody has the support in family. And so what I really liked is how she gave other suggestions, like warm lines, where you can sort of like call a friend.
Really, the idea is to just seek help.
Yeah, professionals, friends, family.
Just check in with your friends.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't just dismiss it as maybe just a passing mood or a phase. Just talk to people and get help.
Even us. I mean, like, how are you guys? Are you good?
I'm good.
I'm good.
I'm
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. How are you?
I'm good. Are you good?
Well, I'm good now.
Yeah, same here.
If you or anyone you know needs help finding mental health support and resources, go to NAMI.org Text HOME to 741-741 or visit www.crisistextline.org.
How you guys feeling?
Nice.
Pretty good. You guys can walk your hands up.
Oh, can't do that.
Not walking my hands up.
Stretch up.
Not gonna do it.
And go back down.
The awkward walk up.
Back down. Got it.
And just hold that stretch right there.
What are you doing?
Are you guys okay?
Yeah.
Well, we're watching.
We're doing the 60+ version.